Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
J-Mo.
I'm back at y'all with another video. I know I've been gone for a little while, but this one should make up for it. What I'm gonna be doing here is the taper on the back of the neck. We're gonna pretty much just go ahead and jump into the video, man. Starting off the video, what you want to do is get your we're gonna start your first initial guideline. In this particular taper, I'm using the edges. I know I had a few people telling me that this was a hard one to do because you don't know how to get that bottom line out. But I tell people, whatever you put the line in with, you get the line out with. And right here, I'm grabbing the wall balding clippers. Now, this blade is a surgical blade, so it's kind of like a 6-eye. It's gonna get at the baldest, closest to bald you want it, to just make that taper really pop out. So what you're gonna do right here is grab the one blade. In this full taper, I'm going to be going in between the detachables and the plastic purple guards. So just watch. What you want to do is go about 1 inch. I say about 1 inch. You know, take your finger and put it in between each guideline. It should kind of give you the right gauge what you should use. Yeah, but we're going to set it up in layers though. We're going to have 3 different lines of demarcation, 3 different lines that we're gonna fade in. We're gonna put our lines in from bottom to top, and we're gonna fade from top to bottom. With this blade right here is a 1.5. We're gonna go ahead and put that 3rd guideline up in there with the 1.5. Now, what I cut the hair down with was a 1.5, so it's not really gonna do nothing. I know a lot of people be scared to go back against that grain with that same guard, but you see, it didn't really do much. So we have 3 levels right there. 1, 2, 3. We good right there. So our guidelines are set. Now on this taper, we're gonna start from the top. I'm just knocking down the hair right here, just kind of debulking it some more. There we go with the purple guard. That's the 2 purple guard, and all the way open in the open position. That's a 2.5. And we're going to work it all the way down to the 2, because remember what I told you, what we're doing right here is just debulking. That's all we're really doing right here is just debulking this area. Making sure that you go in the way that the hair grows, the way I comb it. I'm making sure that I go back and cut it that same exact way. And at this point, like I say, you go through each one of those levels. Make sure that you're hearing the cutting. If you don't hear nothing, go to the next notch. You know, the only clipper I know that does this is the master. So if you have another clipper, just go to the notch and make sure you at least get 4 to 5 notches before you move to the next blade, because that's how many notches that's how many notches the wall. And I'm talking about the wall. What's the name of these clippers? The Andes, that's how many notches the Andes have. So that's why I say 5 to 4 notches. Gonna get back into it. What this blade is, that's the 2 blade. Remember, I used the purple guards to kind of just debulk that area, but I got it all the way down to a 2, so we can go against the grain with the 2 detachable, and it really won't do nothing to it. What it'll do, it'll help it further blend that top line out of there. So that's the 2 right there. The next blade that I'm going to grab is going to be the 1 3/4. And that's a blade they didn't give me in barber college. So if you're a barber student watching this, you're a barber, hey, whichever one category you fall in, that should be a blade you should add to your repertoire. It'll help you fade out a whole lot better. And you see it's still kind of a little dark right here in those areas. And something that to remember when you're doing them fades and you're using these detachables, do not use that whole blade. Do not use that whole blade, because what you do when you use that whole blade, you make a whole other guideline. And making another guideline is not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is just get out certain parts that we want. So all we're going to use is the corner of the blade. That'll save you a whole lot of time. And if you use that whole blade, cut somebody's hair back there, 9 times out of 10, you're going to create a whole nother guideline. And that's not what you want. You don't want the client sitting in your chair because you back here sweating bullets. because you don't put a whole other guideline in there. So what we're gonna do, I still see a few dark spots at the top of that fade line. We was working on that top line. So we just gonna grab that corner, that 1.5 blade, and just go up in there, play with it a little bit to just get it to my likeness, to my blend. And what I'm gonna do next is go down to this middle line. You're gonna hit that line with the 1.5 because that's kind of the line that was put there with the 1.5. You see what we're doing now? We're just working backwards. So the next blade we're gonna grab after the 1.5 is gonna be the 1 1/4. That's another blade you should write down or pause and get a picture of that video. I mean, get a picture of that blade. Check Amazon, check your local beauty supply store. It's an essential tool to have when you're doing fades or tapers to just blend down and do the blend down technique. Yeah, man, like I said, we just hit that line, corner of the blade, and maybe right here, like I said, as you start to go down slower and lower, you can use the full blade if you need to. Only when you need to. Every stroke you do not need to be with the full blade. Now, when you're taking lines out, of course, you use the full blade, but when you just spot checking the previous blade and you're going lower, you need to just use that corner, because I'm telling you, last thing you want to do is put a whole new line in a fade that's already faded. You don't want to do that. And with that blade right there, that was the 1A blade. So after the 1A, I use the 0 guard on the purple guards. And this purple guard, I use the 0 guard. Those two, to me, it cut just like the 1A. But what the purple guard do, it gets it like closer and finer to me. So I always go behind the 1A guard, the 1A detachable with the 0 purple guard, and just further blend out that line before I take out the adjustables and just go back in and freehand it. I find myself, like I said, that's a method that I use. I always implement that 0 guard in there. But right here, say we spot checking. We always spot checking. It's never a race when you got somebody in your chair. It's never a race. If you do right, they're gonna always come back. But spot checking right here. And to get this bottom line out, all you do is open the clipper all the way, scoop at that bottom line all the way open first, and just gradually just close it. That bottom line is gonna go away easily. And if it don't, you just grab the edge or whatever you put the line in with, and just use the corner of the blade and just, like I said, play with it till just play with it until it's a desirable fade for you. Like I say, what's perfect to you is perfect to you. And what's perfect to me is perfect to me. So my work won't look like your work, and your work won't look like my work, but it'll be perfect in your way. Makes sense? Moving on. Like I say, you see how that line just goes away? Beautiful. Beautiful. We don't have no lines of demarcations. Everything was faded out. Everything. Next thing to do is we're going to go and put the line up on it. We're going to see how the line up fall on it. Look at that. Look at it. One tap. And a lot of things I see on Instagram, people just hit it one time and they'll post a video and people look, oh, that's sharp. It's not. Comb back through that. If any line fall through that, if any hairs is blitzing that line, that ain't no sharp edge up, man. I had a cousin tell me that one time. If no hairs fall over that edge, if that's a clean, that's a sharp hairline. So we just gotta make sure that we catching every hair and combing through it. Use the comb. Look at this side. We don't see no hard lines, no lines of demarcations. Every one of them hairs is faded to where they're supposed to be at. That's how it's supposed to be. These are the fades that we trying to achieve right here. Like I say, man, I can teach you a thing or two, man. Just watch, pay attention. If you're a visual learner, you can see me do it visually. If you're a person that can listen and, watch, this is a video for you too. I remember being in the same position you in, just watching, trying to figure out how to do this cut or how to do that cut. I remember. Like I said, now I'm to a point where I can be able to give you content and tell you how to do this and how to do that. But yeah, look at that. Look at that fade, man. No lines of demarcation. Now, this front hairline was already done with the razor and edge up. That's a no enhancements on this cut. It's an all natural cut. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. Like I said in the comments, let me know what videos I can do next. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, JMotorBarber LLC. And make sure y'all visit my website, www.jmotorbarber.com. I'm out. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's been real.